Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. Thanks for joining me today for Stay Free with Russell Brand. The good news is that Christ is real and present in your consciousness right now. The bad news is that the devil is also real and he has seized control of reality. Russell, did you change the time of the show because you're experiencing technical difficulties? Because I'm training. I'm training right up. You cannot be fat in the American military. You cannot do it. And if I'm going to fulfill my dream of becoming a Marine, I've got to be slender, baby. Hexef wants the abs. Hexef, he's getting the abs. That's right. That's why we are on the very precipice of bringing you a new range of glorious opportunities, for we are reborn. This is the beginning of a glorious new era. This is the time to awaken. You know that now. You can't stay down there in the quarry and the quandary of cultural quibbling anymore. The quarrel must be brought to a conclusion as we awaken together. We've got a lot of things to cover. Tony Blair, by some people's reckoning, a necromancer, yes, a worshipper of the evil one. No, he's probably not. He's probably a good guy, is he? I don't know. Let me know in the comments in the chat. Has brokered with Netanyahu and Trump a peace deal in Israel. That's good. Anything that stops people dying is good, isn't it? Not. I don't know. Well, no, because the soul is eternal, so that would mean that the material world and life isn't the highest possible metric. The service of God is the highest possible metric. Would you agree with that? Or are we so far down the lines of materialism and rationalism that we just can't even receive that kind of thing anymore? We are live. This is live. That's why See No Free can say, holy sweet raspberries, talking about these guys. That's why Love in Action can say, Russell, you're looking very good, near naked there. Let me know what you think or thought in the comments and chat. Do you know how to do that, Jake? Because Jake's running the desk there. Yeah, check that. Let me know how you feel in the comments and chat, because you remember, did you see the show I did with Gavin DeBecker about his book? What you think by now, how long I've worked in media, I'd be able to work out that everything's the opposite side. I'm talking about Forbidden Facts, this brilliant book by Gavin DeBecker that actually shows that, you know how it's still to this day difficult to talk about vaccines and autism? Well, this book shows you why it's difficult to talk about that. I'm shirtless, brother and puddy. Do you want me to put a top on? I can put a top on. I've got this. I bought this down Dickie's Sporting Goods. I got it down Dickie's Sporting Goods. This can go on. But if this messes with my hairstyle, guys, it's on you. It's on you. Is that better? You happy? Tell Jake to strip his shirt off. I don't have that kind of... He's not ready. He's not ready. Maybe when we come back after a brief break, when we're coming back roaring, baby, we are going to be touring. We're going to be live. We're going to be appearing at college campuses and churches. We're going to be bringing the message. You know, I love Crowder, you know, but like you see Crowder, he's very much in the confrontation mode, isn't he, when he goes to a college campus? And I like that, man. I wouldn't like to go and argue with Crowder about any of that stuff. But me, I want to bring the holy love of the Lord. So let me know which college campuses you think we should be appearing at for our Reborn tour. Let me know if you think I'll be cancelled. Remember, I've got rape charges against me in the UK that I have to fight in June. The good news is I'm completely innocent and it's a media and government conspiracy. Are you allowed to say that? Can we say that? You can say that on YouTube now, because Trump has successfully sued YouTube. We got a lot of things to talk about. If you're not on Rumble Premium yet, get Rumble Premium now. I'm directly financially remunerated, so just so you know that about me. But really, Rumble is a fantastic platform that you can rely on. You can rely on it. I mean, I don't know, do you worry because Peter Thiel or whatever? I don't know, man. I don't understand the ins and outs of business, but I do understand that it's possible to have a personal connection to the living Christ. Now, there's a few things here. Colbert, Kim, right, tell me, right, let's work this out. We've got 6 options. 1, press 1 if you want to see a young lad finding a way to get a picture of JD Vance. Don't be a pervert. 2, Trump checks RFK ain't caught COVID after he sneezes. That was cute. I see that already. 3, Gavin Newsom proves the left can't meme. Post JD Vance minion meme to counter Trump's recent Hakeem Jeffries Mexican meme. Do you want to see that? Me talking about it? 4, Colbert to Kimmel. Did you ever think the President of the United States would be celebrating your unemployment? 5, babies could be born without biological mothers. Whoa, that's weird. And 6, Meghan Kenny with Matthew McConaughey about leaving Hollywood. The one that you get most of, but can you quickly post it? Because I won't be able to count the numbers. Think about like elections in your country with them Dominion voting machines that could be easily hacked and manipulated. So I have to see a clear consensus before I move on with this. Some people are saying 6 over on locals, like Jude Syke. Oh, a lot of people, like one person pressed 3 a lot of times. And I've got to tell you, that did impact me. Over in the Rumble chat, 5. Come on, quickly. It seems like, I think I'm going to go 5, and I can't remember which one that was. Here it is. Babies could be born without biological mamas. Babies could be born without a biological mama after a scientist created functional human eggs from skin. But what part of the skin? Are we talking about dandruff flakes? Are we talking about foreskin, scrotum skin? What are we talking about there? And what kind of baby will it be? American researchers demonstrated it was possible to replace the DNA from an egg with genetic material from another person's skin and turn it into a sex cell ready for fertilization. This reminds me of when I was a boy at school. We're going to do six. Six is winning. We're going to do that. But it reminds me, though, of when I was a boy. That's what I was once. I was still me, but I was a boy. And before that, I was a baby. And before that, I was a sperm and an ovum. The sperm was in Ron Brand and the ovum was in Barbara Brand. Before that, difficult to say. It's difficult to say before that. That's it. Records not found before that. But when I was a boy at science, I put under a microscope. I was at this boarding school for a year. I didn't like it. I got sent there. I wasn't happy about it. And while I was there in a science class once, they were going, right, put these slides under a microscope. But I was picking bogies out and earwax and all sorts of things. That's true. That's science, man. And when the man saw me, I feel like he hit me around the back of the head.
Yeah, you could do that back then.
Then were the glory days where striking a child would get you a promotion. Not now, though. Let's see Matthew McConaughey and Megyn Kelly talk about something that I know only too well. Fleeing Hollywood to raise a family. Of course, one of the reasons I left Hollywood is because Arthur didn't do as well as I thought it would. That's one of the reasons why. I'm a proud man. And but there was a lot of other stuff as well, right? Notably, because even if you say something like Arthur didn't do as well as I thought he would, that voice, it wasn't the right voice. I'm so sorry. It was too high. Why did I do that? My voice is a relatively high voice anyway. Why would I go higher to do it? I was trying to do a Dudley Moore impression. I apologise. I apologise to Warner Brothers. I apologise to the American public. I apologise to the living relatives of Dudley Moore. It's quite a good film in its way, so if you watch it like a children's film. But the other thing was, when I was doing Arthur, hold on, I had another point about that. Oh, yeah. See, I weren't trying very hard. I weren't trying my hardest because I weren't in a good mood. Like, when I'm making a movie. See, now, I don't want to do it like this. I don't want this to be, thank you, Sensitive Heart says, Russell is a good film. That's very kind, Sensitive Hearts, but I think your love of me has affected your... I liked it. Jake, he loves me as well. Is there someone, I'd like someone who actively hates me, like, and I know they're in the Rumble chat, to come on and go, I hate you, but I thought it was great.
The voice was high.
It was too high. Why can't we put it through auto-tune and take it down a notch? How would I do it now? I'd do the whole film different, to be honest, from the get-go. I'd do the whole film different from the get-go. Do you know that before Dudley Moore did the original and Fantastic Arthur in the 1980s, John Belushi was going to do it. So they would have made, if it was John Belushi, it would have been he would have been a disgusting lunatic, wouldn't he? It would have been like, like puking up and punching people and crazy. I should have done it that way. But it don't matter now. It's what the Lord had in mind and intended. It was part of the holy journey. But what I mean to say is, on the subject of Hollywood, the reason I couldn't function correctly there is because even though I wouldn't have been able to articulate it this way then, is I knew I was amid something that's not right. And I don't mean to say that people like Judd Apatow isn't fantastic. He is. Or Helen Mirren isn't fantastic. She is. Or Jason Segel or Jonah Hill or Alec Baldwin. Loads of people that are actually amazing and brilliant writers and brilliant, clever people. And one time I met Larry Charles, and I did a movie with Larry Charles and he directed me in it actually. I played God. I was way off track. That needed reining in. In a film with Nick Cage actually. Don't worry, no one saw it. But the thing is that Larry Charles is amazing. What an amazing guy he is. I've met loads and loads of beautiful, fantastic people, but the system itself is evil. Same as government. You could meet people in government that are really decent, I bet. Like, I know some now. Dr. Oz, he's fantastic. Secretary Kennedy, amazing, beautiful, heroic human being. And I know people in like the Trump family and stuff, and they're lovely people. Do I know any Democrat people though? Not anymore. I used to. Anyway, we've got to work all this stuff out. Let's have a look at this conversation between Megyn Kelly and Matthew McConaughey and see if it's interesting. Over the course of the show, we can also talk about Andrew Bridgen, former guest. Did you see that? Did you watch Gavin DeBecker? Did you watch the Gavin DeBecker episode? Go and watch it if you haven't watched it now after this. Spend your whole day watching me. For heaven's sake, don't go out and look at the sky and breathe in and out. Way. Hey, and don't for a second realize that your whole life hangs upon the single thread of God, that he is present all the time with you, and you've been distracted. You've been distracted by the evil one, the father of lies, the great counterfeits. And that's what the show's going to be like when we are reborn. Glory, glory unto him. No more division, no more false idols, no more false gods. The mutual acknowledgement and recognition of our fallenness. An open hand out to you of forgiveness and reconciliation. The acknowledgement that your life belongs to God, and if God wants you dead, God gets you dead. If God wants you in a dungeon, you are in a dungeon, baby. It don't matter anymore. We are finally free. Finally free. Brad Casfide. Hey, Russell, I liked you in Ballers. Actually, scratch that. I'm going back to acting. I'm going to play a character very much like the character I played in HBO's Ballers. No, I mean, that was a good show. That's when I met Jonathan Rumi. Jesus is my body double. Okay, so, right. Obviously, we're going to talk about the peace deal. Let's talk about that. We're going to talk about Trump suing YouTube. That's going to be pretty good. I'm going to talk about the UK. I love talking about the UK. Free speech is a British value. We're going to talk about Don Lemon. Hey, Tony, guests, if you're watching. Don Lemon, he'd be a good person. Let's do a hookup with Don Lemon. I want to talk to him, see what he's like. I liked me in Ballers. Breathe in those nanoparticles. You need to cover those Hindu gods on your arm. Now, they're part of my journey, man. Durga, I still like, Durga, she's the goddess of female power, and whilst I know there is only one true God and that Jesus Christ came and he died for us, don't mean that I have to pretend I didn't have a past. I've done a bunch of crazy stuff, and I know people that worship Krishna, and when they're talking about it, it's, they're talking about absolute love. They're talking about absolute love. Hey, who's moderating this? Who's moderating Mr. David Duke? Who's moderating it? Someone's moderating this. It's not even us. Who's doing these moderations? Scott, do you reckon is Isaac in Miami somewhere running the streams?
No.
So do you reckon it was anti-Semitism? It's got to be anti-Semitism. Don't be anti-Semitic. It's pointless. It's have Santos Bonacci on as a guest. He'll blow your mind. Okay. God is a female, says Soul Spirit. God must be beyond all categories that human beings can understand, although we functionally use the word he, don't we? All right, should we watch this? You all wanted to see Matthew McConaughey talking to Megyn Kelly. Let's watch that and talk about what else we're going to discuss and what guests you want to see in here. You want to see David Icke, don't you? You want to see Tate, don't you? You want to see, who do you want to see? Let me know who you want to see.
Look at you, and you seem to me very much like an outlier. We talked about, the writing ability, which not everybody in Hollywood has. A lot of people just want to be on camera. A lot of people just want to be a star in my industry, too. Poems and Prayers is the name of the book for those listening. So you've got writing ability. You move out to California, you get cast in the first two things that you apply for, you try out for, audition. You become a star pretty quickly. And then unlike virtually everybody who follows that path with success, you leave Hollywood, you go back to your native Texas, you choose to raise your children there, you get married, you're in a long-term marriage, like your marriage works, which is rare in your industry. By the way, you're not the first McConaughey I've interviewed. Your lovely wife came on my show.
I think my wife fancies Matthew McConaughey. I think Laura, list some of her favourite films, my wife. She likes Dirty Dancing, starring Swayze. She likes Labyrinth, starring Bowie. She likes Interstellar, starring McConaughey. So I think you could say that, I've got a bit of that guy from Dirty Dancing. Not with the dancing. My dancing is dirty, but in all the wrong ways, as in it's sort of disgusting. Like, oh God, no, stop doing that. And then, Labyrinth, Bowie, I can pull that off. I can be a goblin king. And then Matthew McConaughey, well, I think I'm in the same sort of universe as Matthew McConaughey. Anyway, so I think my wife fancies Matthew McConaughey. That's basically the conclusion. Everyone fancies him.
Good looking guy.
He's gorgeous, isn't he? He's beautiful. He's Texan. He's an outsider. All right, let's have a look at Matthew McConaughey. He's got that new book.
Good. Your lovely wife came on my show when I was at NBC.
There we go.
And so all of these things suggest you're of a different mold and model than the average person out there, that you have, to me, a different value set. And I think that's embodied in your book, because what I see in here is you love America. You're a man of faith, but like most of us who are people of faith, you struggle with it. What does it mean? How far can it take me? How humble?
Tony, guest, see if you can get McConaughey on. He came on the other podcast, but that was before the rape charges. A lot of people are freaked out by it. Megyn Kelly, I'm going to go on that show. That'll be good. Let's go on that. Assange. Yes, Assange. I'm writing that down. That's so important. I'm writing it down. Who said that? Farmer John, 2022. Farmer John, well done. You win comment of the day. Charlie Sheen. Yeah, that's a good one. Charlie Sheen. McConaughey. What's the other one we just said? Assange. Yeah, and I'm friends with his wife. You know, he was always banged up. I went to see him when he was in the embassy. Matthew has stood the test of time. Yes, he has.
How can I humble myself in order for it to really mean something to me? Yep. You love your children, you prioritize them over your job and realize they're both important, but one is clearly the winner.
I just want to see this Colbert thing. I'm a little bit interested in this.
Did you ever think the president of the United States would be celebrating your unemployment?
I mean, that son of a...
See, no one's doing the thing they said they were going to do. No one's doing the, come on, let's try and bring people together. That's what we're going to do. We are going to do it. So, like, we're not going to go to college campuses and churches and rouse passions and anger. Everyone wants to be our Lord and Saviour when he's flipping them tables in the temple, but we got to be him when he's washing the disciples' feet. You got to wash the disciples' feet. When I was in New York, mate, in Central Park, there was a homeless dude slumped. The amount of effluvia and discharge on that geezer, it weren't easy, man. Furthermore, he'd walked through his shoes. Like, the top of the shoe was still there, but the bottom of the shoe was gone. I see his feet through there. They were so dirty and busted up and broken. And I thought, our Lord, he would wash them feet. He would wash them feet. He would wash them feet. I gave him a quick blowjob, but come on. Listen, you got to get with it. We're here to detonate new territory. That's it, baby. Old Russ is dead. New Russ is reborn. It's a new person. I might even change my name. I might even come up with a new name. I'm that serious about it all. I am that serious about it. All right, so Gaza, Israel. We'll solve that in a minute. Ben Affleck and Jen Garner. I've done a film with Jen Garner. She's really lovely. She's really lovely. So I don't want to criticise her, but I don't know. Let's have a look. RFK Jr. posts graph of independent media, including Russ. Hold on a minute. If I'm in the news, I want to see it. It's nice just to see a bit of news where it's not an attack. Let's have a look. Check out old Russ. There's old Russ. Joe Rogan at the middle of the universe. Old Russ there. Same sort of levels as Theo von Ben Shapiro there. He's got a big reach, isn't he? There we go. There we all are. The harvest. This is the harvest of cancel culture, the stunning pace of idea generation and debate across the entire liberal ecosystem. And by the way, you can make the same graphic for comedy. Excellent. Well done, Bobby. Nice. Good to get that out there. Let's do it, baby. What was we chatting about a minute ago? Done Megyn Kelly. Talked about that fella's feet. Made a blowjob joke that made Jake gag a little bit. I can continue the joke using that image system, let me tell you. I can continue it. Trump calls Blair a very, very good man. Now, my mate Gareth, who prepares this content, he did say that it was quite funny the way that Trump talks about this peace deal. So let's have a look at it. I know that some of you will be concerned about, I don't know, tell me what you think about peace deal. Let's work it out. We ain't seen it yet.
To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace. Sort of a beautiful name, the Board.
It's commenting on the name of it. It's a good name.
The Board of Peace, which will be headed, not at my request, believe me, I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works. The leaders of the Arab world and Israel and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want, is some extra work to do, but
well, it's interesting.
It's so important that I'm willing to do it, and we'll do it right, and we're going to put leaders from other countries on, and leaders that are very distinguished leaders, and we'll have a board, and one of the people that wants to be on the board is the UK former Prime Minister, Tony Blair. Good man, very good man.
Ooh, Ashella in the locals chat says he's put Tony Blair in charge of peace in Gaza. Wasn't Satan available? Maybe this is, Satan's always available. Maybe it's the opportunity for Tony Blair to redeem the million dead Iraqi kids that lost their lives as a result of that war built on the weapons of mass destruction lie that also had the suspicious death of David Kelly, the academic that produced the report saying that there was no requirement to invade Iraq. And then he was sort of like found dead in the woods. I don't know, maybe it's not a conspiracy.
And some others, and they'll be named over the next few days. And it'll be quite the board. working. Everybody wants to be on it now.
I want to be on the board. Right. Remember when I was going to go to Israel? That was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy, wasn't it? It didn't happen for a number of reasons, but I'm going, baby. Why are they holding back the details of the attacker in the UK? What are you talking about, Brad Case, FDE? What are you talking about? I don't know what attacker.
Wants to be on it now. I don't know if that had anything to do. They named me and everybody else wanted to be on it. I guess they figure, well, he's a soft touch. He'll be easy to deal with. Working with the World Bank and others, it will be responsible for recruiting and training a new government that will be made up of Palestinians along with highly qualified experts from...
Oh, Bogey 85. We're watching the stage being set for the Antichrist in real time. I ain't been that region. I ain't been Jerusalem. I want to go, man. People tell me it feels like the center of the world. When you read Revelations, it's obviously centripetal to the events that will surround the final days. You know, it's very interesting. It's very interesting to consider that there can be any kind of, I want to say, pact or truce between Christians and Jews, given that there's this kind of, well, actually, really, what it says, I think, in Revelations is that the branch will be grafted back on to the tree. But, you know, you have to accept Christ as the Messiah, which a lot of people are not down with. Oh, no, Manchester attack on synagogue. He looks very Muslimic. Is that a word, Ashella? Okay, I'm sorry to hear there's been an attack on a synagogue in Manchester. That's obviously, oh man, we don't need that crap.
With highly qualified experts from all around the world. Hamas and other terrorist factions will play no role in the board, but they'll play no role in the governance of Gaza at all, directly or indirectly, as you know.
Okay. All right, it says Blair's a good man, a very good man. We'll talk about this for a bit. Let me know more about this attack.
And we'll do it right, and we're going to put leaders from other countries on, and leaders that are very distinguished leaders. And we'll have a board, and one of the people that wants to be on the board is the UK former Prime Minister, Tony Blair. Good man, very good man. And some others. And they'll be named over the next few days. And it'll be quite the...
I'm going to be on that board. Andrew Bridgen. President Trump has got this seriously wrong. Tony Blair is despised by the majority of British citizens, and he has a very poor record in the Middle East after his legal war. Fair points, all of those. Trump, would you like to take a question or two from a friendly Israeli reporter, if there is such a thing? I've got to see that clip just based on the title.
I think while we're waiting for signatures and waiting for approvals from a lot of different countries that are involved in this, we probably shouldn't take questions, or would you like to take a question or two from perhaps a friendly Israeli reporter, if there's such a thing?
That's a very, very tough proposition.
It's very, very funny that he can even be funny in that context. He's got some sort of fortitude, and I feel like the people that don't like him should acknowledge that as a sort of part of the route back to peace. I didn't finish what I was saying about Colbert, did I? And, and kill him.
Very tough proposition. But I would think, Mr. President, that I would go by your instinct that this is, we'll have enough time for questions. Let's settle the issue first, I think.
About old Netanyahu, man. I've got some, I don't know, I'm not sure about all this. We'll work it out. We'll work it out over the course of the thing. Kamala's book tour event gets disrupted by pro-Palestine. I mean, look, if there is a deal being offered to Hamas and that there's a way for the killing to stop, wouldn't that be ultimately fantastic?
About how and why you are saying what you are saying now and how I felt about it, you're not letting me talk. You know what? I respect your right to speak, but you're not letting me speak. Bring the temperature down, unlike the current president of the United States.
That's a confusing event, that. What was going on? Like, why did they start cheering? It didn't seem like the circumstances had improved by the time they were cheering. It seemed embarrassing and awkward and unpleasant. Oh, there's so many things I want to talk to you about, but before we go any further, we best get Jake, man. We're going to have to, we can't make this content, is the truth, without the support of our financial partners. Here's a quick message from, we've got so much more to talk about. Stay with us. See you in a second. What is Comet? There's Halley's Comet. There's that one where then people killed themselves as a result of it. But there are other comets too. What is this one? Comet is a new AI-powered web browser from Perplexity. Let me ask you something. How much time do you spend every day on a web browser? How much time do you spend clicking around online, searching, scrolling, typing, endless tabs? It's a lot, isn't it? Well, stop it. Comet will do that for you. Using Comet feels like having a personal assistant living in your web browser that can actually do things for you across the internet. Yeah, do things, not just give you answers. For example, you can ask Comet to handle tasks and it literally clicks, types, searches and scrolls just like you would, getting things done for you in the background while you go about your day. Comet can shop for you, make reservations, book travel, summarize articles or videos, send emails, schedule meetings and a lot more to make your lifestyle easier. Comet don't just give answers, it gets things done. Pretty cool, right? Download Perplexity's new AI web browser, Comet, by heading to pplx.ai/brand and let your browser work for you. There's a link in the description. Use it. So if you say something like, why don't you buy me this Russell Brand merchandise? Or, why don't I support Russell Brand in his ongoing campaign against the forces of injustice? There could be any number of Russell Brand related or non-Russell Brand related things. I don't know, maybe a cat's got to go out of it. It'll help you with anything. That's what I'm saying. It will do your bidding for you. It's like your little surf, like Mickey Mouse in the Apprentice movie, in that Fantasia thing. It'll do your bidding. You're in control of it, you see. Even better than that, if you download Comet right now, you will get 1 month on Rumble Premium for free. That means you'll get my additional content, Stephen Crowder's, Glenn Greenwald's, Dave Rubin's, Tim Paul's, all of those people for free. So this is the perfect time for you to get Comet. Get yourself your own digital personal assistant who will do stuff for you. It's going to be brilliant. You're going to get on with that guy. Don't fall in love with it. Look, we did it at a different time because we're going to be taking a break soon. The reason I'm taking a break is even just before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I was starting to feel very disillusioned and challenged by this space. A minute ago, I was trying to tell you what it was like to leave Hollywood, and whilst probably if I'd been getting, I don't know, more money or more fame, if it had been continually inflating, I might have remained because I'm an addict. But because it didn't do that, you know, I sort of somehow broke out, was cast out. It matters not. I went back to the UK, got involved in politics. If you've followed me closely, then you'll see that around 2015, I got involved with politics primarily from an anti-establishment position, saying there's no point voting, it doesn't make any difference. Kind of anti-establishment. Then got involved with activism, primarily supporting working class people with their housing rights in a crisis of housing in the United Kingdom. Then I got back into doing YouTube videos, and the YouTube videos started to get very successful, in particular during the pandemic period. Massive views. Go back and have a look at that stuff. We were pretty edgy. We were talking about stuff about vaccines at the time, and now we all know a lot more about vaccines and a lot more about the pandemic. And I'm certainly not claiming to be like some pioneering trailblazer. I was using other people's content, other people's research. I was being influenced by the same people you're probably influenced by. Then Rumble were kind enough to give us an amazing deal all throughout the time where I've been accused of crimes that I'm going to defend in court, and by God's grace I'll be exonerated or not. You know, that's not in my hands. But now the Lord is so real to me that I can't do anything unless I believe in it anymore. It's changing really, really fast. So I'm going to take some time off and think about what to do next. I feel like, you know me, my ego will drag me back in front of a camera before too long. You know what I'm like. But I'm going to take this opportunity to cultivate a deeper relationship with God, to reflect on what's happening in this culture, and to see how, you know what they say is where what you have to offer meets what the world needs. And if I have nothing to offer that the world needs, then that will take care of itself, won't it? I'll just maybe get a little cabin somewhere and be with my beautiful, beautiful children. But if there's... No, fuck you. Jake, worry about you. No, yeah, it'll be cool. Anyway, so I'm going to take some time off. We'll see. If the world needs my voice, it will find a way of getting it. Well, it's not like who knows, it might not be a long break. I'm going to have a little break. And continue and pray because, it can't just be sort of this continual futile squabble. Can't just be a continual futile squabble, can it? Keep supporting Rumble, won't you? Anyway, I'll finish this show now. Just before I tell you, that's what I'm doing. So have a look at this. This is Obama, Barack Obama. I believe he used to be kind of king of America. He was the first brown king of America. It was a big deal. People cared about that. Hey, what if we have a brown one? Will that work? All right, I suppose so. What about a lady one? Yeah, all right, I don't know. Wait a minute, it doesn't make any difference because it's the system itself.
So we had the spectacle of my successor in the Oval Office making broad claims around certain drugs and autism that have been continuously disproved. And
That's amazing. There he is, Barack Obama, going out of his way to advocate for, just to say there's no relationship between vaccines and autism. And he gets around and plays, thank you for, yes, it's so harmful when people say that vaccines and autism might be connected. Most people would define a vaccine as a benign and harmless injection that makes people immune to a disease, reliably preventing infection and transmission of diseases children are likely to be exposed to, and which in the absence of vaccination could be fatal or debilitating. That's a great idea. That's a great idea, and that's what vaccines used to mean. Why the presence of why the presence of mercury? Why the presence of aluminium? What about the staggering rise in autism? You know what they tried to say is, people diagnose it more. That's what's happened. Well, why ain't any Amish people getting it? Why aren't Amish people getting it? Yeah, someone said that. Look at that. Yeah, Jimmy Drawer in the Rumble chat. 0 autism in unvaxxed Amish. Yep, pretty good. Pretty good. So there's Barack Obama, who, whilst he might seem superficially like to be kind of delightful, charming and stuff, and whilst I can see and understand the excitement for America remending its complex and difficult past when it comes to racial dynamics, that dude's corrupt. Russell, did you get vaccinated? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? How do you suppose I would respond when you hear there's this mandatory, near mandatory program to take these vaccines? Knowing what you know about me, how do you think? If they wanted me to take those vaccines, all they had to do was put them in my bedroom and tell me not to touch it. And then I'd have had that thing in my arm within seconds. Anyway, yeah, let's see, man. COVID, look at this. Even mainstream media are reporting now that COVID vaccines might raise the risk of cancer, a contentious study claims. So I feel like, in a sense, we've gone as far as we can get with this version. That's what I feel like. When we started this, you couldn't put COVID vaccines might raise the risk of cancer. Now you can. I'm not claiming any credit for that. I'm not claiming any credit. I'm a participant in a space where there are lots of really brilliant people. I'm just going to work out if there's anything I can do that's of value here. And if there is, I'll do it. If there ain't, I won't. Simple as that, isn't it, really? Okay, let's have a look at this. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner's daughter demands that countries around the world bring back COVID mandates. Well, I'm sort of uncomfortable about doing this, really, but let's have a look.
So when it comes to the ongoing pandemic, our present is being stolen right in front of our eyes. For adults, the relentless beat of back to normal, ignoring, downplaying, and concealing both the prevalence of airborne transmission and the threat of long COVID, manifested in a series of choices. Young people...
She's smart. She should do a load of reading. I'd love it, wouldn't it? If we could get this book, I'm going to send this book to her parents. And go, what do you think about this? What do you think about it? That's what there's no point in us squabbling with one another. Get this book and give it to someone who believes. Can you post a link in the description? Can you do that? Can you do that, Jake? Or can Luke do it? We should post in the chat right now a link to this book, because this book is the counter argument to that. Long COVID, there's no long COVID, that's vaccine injury symptoms. Or COVID, I mean, like, God, how have you evaded that narrative? How have you evaded COVID is a result of experimentation funded by agencies that are themselves funded by the American government. It's possible that it was around longer than it was acknowledged. It's even possible that the entire event was, if not staged, it was certainly beneficial to some pretty extraordinary and powerful global interests. The vaccines themselves look, do you know what will come out over the next few months? The vaccines are worse than the disease. You shouldn't have taken the vaccines. And that's so hard for people to kind of deal with that, it's difficult to believe that, isn't it? It's difficult to believe that something that you're invested in is has been that potently negative. But let me know how you feel about this, because I guess we would expect thank you. I guess we would expect from like someone that's probably been raised in and around Hollywood, God love her, and God bless Ben Affleck and Jen Gardner. I pray they're all right, and I pray for this young lady. But here's Trump sort of praising Baller. That's interesting, isn't it? Baller is announcing a $70 billion deal with the US to expand its mRNA empire. Did you feel that would be happening?
We are ready to invest, as the president also mentioned, $70 billion in the next few years from Pfizer in manufacturing and research in America alone. I really think this is an historical moment, because also I can put that behind us and focus on the things that I want to spend my time, cancer treatments, to bring better obesity medicines, to bring better vaccines, to bring things that people value. And thank you for allowing us to do that. I want to thank Secretary Kennedy. I want to thank Secretary Lutnick. Your leadership helped us to pull that together. You are the mastermind of everything, and without the brilliant way that you designed the whole thing, we wouldn't be able to make it happen. Blessings. But you were even more brilliant because you had someone in your team that he was the driving force behind everything. And I don't have words to thank you for your integrity. And it is what you have said. We created trust from day one. And that was the most important thing that allowed us to be able to pull very difficult negotiations. Of course, also I want to thank the US trade representative, who is also heavily engaged, and he's probably the first trade representative that I have seen that cares about our industry and cares to do something about unfair situations out there, but more than anyone else. Mr. President, I want to thank you.
Thank you very much.
For your leadership, and frankly for your friendship. Thank you.
Albert, thank you very much. Great job. Great job.
All right, what we'll say is that RFK didn't shake his hand. Listen, he's probably not, like Albert Baller. He just, running Pfizer. All right, let's just do our best to think how our Lord and Savior might regard it. Let's think. Amidst the infinite, is there any difference really between some wrecked and ravaged soul strewn upon the streets of DC, broken, hopeless, mental illness, addiction, homeless, helpless, and an extraordinarily powerful CEO of a globalist corporation like Pfizer or any of the tech companies or whatever? Well, no. In the context of infinity, and even if you're an atheist, atheists believe that the reason that we have the perfect rules for reality here, the gravity, the distance from the sun, the conditions for biology, that's because the universe is so vast in scope that inevitably all conditions would eventually be achieved. But isn't that just a mathematical way of saying that there's an all-powerful creator so potent that all conditions are there? Except it gives you this sort of odd nihilistic crease that God may not love you, God may not care for you. And your own experience of love tells you that God is real, or at least, let's start here, that love is real, or let's at least start here, right and wrong are real. You know it, you intuit it. When you deny it or act against it yourself, you are subject to it. When you reflect on that, when you breathe into your heart, when you see your heart held between your lungs, when you breathe in, out, when you feel God in you, when you feel that the thread of your life, the light of your life is hung upon the currency of God's grace, then you know that He is real. You know that the kingdom of heaven is within. You know it. Of course, it can't be measured and calculated. Particularly diffuse across the infinite is the way that we receive it, as well as particular and subjectively. How hard it is to aggregate those vast poles, the personal and the macro, and come out with it something as certain as faith. Why? It's almost as if you need a vertical axis that plunges you deep, deep into the earth while reaching into the unknowable and the unknown, and a horizontal axis that reaches out in love in every direction. And that is what we've been offered, and that is what we have. In the cross, we have a geometric symbol and an assurance, a covenant of blood that reaches beyond language. And it's here that we have to find ourselves. Vaccines ain't necessarily bad. The ones taken at Valley Forge, issued under the guidance of General, as he was then, George Washington, to ensure that the smallpox epidemic didn't destroy his troops who were fighting against, can't remember what country America was fighting against to get its independence. It's just on the tip of my tongue. So it's not like vaccines are in and of themselves bad. It's not as if business in and of itself is bad. It's not like government is in and of itself bad. What's bad is when government and business combine to create power bases and profit opportunities at the expense of freedom and at the expense of the well-being of people. All right. That's what I think. Are we off YouTube or are we still on it? YouTube, you crazy globalists. Look, we're gonna look, YouTube, look what's going on here. Like, if you're watching us on YouTube, click the link in the description. Look at this. YouTube has to give Trump $24.5 million for their 2021 suspension of his channel. 100 million in settlements he's getting. Look at him. Guys, we're coming for you. We'll be coming for you. You wait. Because guess what? I nearly raped no one. So there's going to be a point where that's proven. Then we're going to start looking at some of these media organizations. It's going to be good. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be a new and fantastic era. We're off YouTube now. Bye-bye. See you later. See you later, you filthy animals. Let's see what Trump himself said.